Testing, testing. All righty. Welcome to another episode of Bunkai's Corner. I'm host Bunkei, and I thought I'd do an abbreviated show. Um, and Jim will be joining me shortly. And he's just grabbing a beer. Just give me 1 second. Um, let's see here. Uh, Sorry about this. I'm not. I'm still not quite used to the Discord yet, but um, but I have to say that this is truly it really is a nifty piece of software, and um, yeah, if you haven't started using it, do so and join us on the Discord. You should see the link there. I am not on YouTube. I know the YouTube chat is enabled for the podcast, but I don't go on there. So if you want to shoot me a question or to Jim a question or just want to just talk with us, the best way to reach us is through the Discord. And that even extends after we go off the air. Actually had somebody come in um a couple of weeks ago, and he gave me the idea of doing a financial segment, which I did last time about how to buy a car, how not to get ripped off, etc. So, um, yeah. So Jim is getting a beer. I thought what I'll do is I showed Jim this just not terribly long ago, but I was watching a whole bunch of videos of um, police shootouts, and there is one that blows my mind. All right, I want you to take a listen. You don't even need to see the video. In fact, there's not a whole lot to see in the video, but the audio is a motherfucker. Listen to happen. So what happened was, as you can probably tell, there was a guy who obviously didn't he didn't appreciate the police being there, and he was basically just like, man, I'm not doing anything wrong, da 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 da, and the police officer was trying to say, hey, come over here, just talk to us for a bit. Anyway, um, and it just goes on from there. Again, you don't need to see the video, but the audio, I guarantee you, is it's some bullshit. I've never heard it. So hold on, let me pull this up. Geez, what channel did I put that in? Oh my gosh, I've just posted.
The political one.
Oh, is it okay? Um, okay, all right. So let me just yeah. So let me just
Come over here and talk to me.
Why just come?
Okay, over here.
Keep your hands out of your pockets. Oh, sorry. Look, I ain't got nothing. You got a gun on you. Do not.
Yeah, do not reach for it. Put your hand.
What are you doing, dude? What are you doing?
Look your hands! Look your hands!
We've 311. Shots fired! Shots fired!
I think he's dead, Jim.
I think so too.
I love it when they just said, "Don't move." Oh, of course, the corpse is definitely not going to move. The corpse may do many things, but moving will not be one of them. I have never
Didn't that
heard.
happen already? No, not just with this, but the same thing. After somebody had been shot like 15 times in a police thing, they were screaming, "Don't move" at him. Also, Mr. Matt, do you remember that? I definitely remember that. I can't think of what it was though, but like, yeah, they shot the fuck out of this person. Like, seven clean shots, and then they were still screaming at him not to
That
move. And I'm like,
that one
what?
was more fucked up actually. Cause
Oh
this
yeah, if you
one
can get the link, send it to us so Ben can see
I
it.
can't even remember. That was so
But
long.
I mean, I think that was 14 rounds in a span of 3 seconds.
Yeah.
I have never heard somebody discharge a gun that many times in a row that quickly.
Nah,
Um,
they were ready to go, man.
and
That
then
one,
yeah, I mean that's just I
the
thought it was
cops
a
didn't
huh.
they didn't make it clear that he shouldn't be even trying to look for anything. But he
What?
also
Huh?
in that situation that video that you guys are talking about, they should have upfront shouldn't have they should have told him to not reach for anything at the beginning.
Yeah.
But this guy was stupid enough to actually look through his pockets, and then he proceeds to try to run away when they
Yeah.
go to search him, and then that's why they're like, you know, they always act like they're gonna get shoot first, so they have to
Well,
preemptively shoot
I
him.
I know, but also to Ben's point too. Like I see what he's saying.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
so excessive. like I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's like that's real and that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But it
yeah.
happens, the fact that I could think of another example of that happening too off the top of my head, like that's fucking scary, man.
And I mean, and this particular shooting is a little bit unique because apparently this police officer shot the suspect with his own gun.
Yes,
Oh yeah. That was,
And
that's a first.
yeah,
I never seen
so in
that.
that little scuffle right there, he must have been able to not just disarm him, but disarm him and then turn the gun on, and hey, and got lit up. Um, and that was that. It was just interesting. I just yelled, don't move. I don't think he is going to be moving for a very long time.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was real crazy. And again, I there was another one. I mean, and it's interesting because I watch a whole bunch of these, and if I haven't said it before, I'll say it now. I mean, that's not an easy job to do because and this is I guess I gave him a new appreciation. But there was one where the officer I don't think followed the rules because he let the guy stand there with his hands in his pockets.
what?
And he let the guy and he's sitting there reading off the date of birth, the social security number to the dispatch. I'm like, put this dude in handcuffs. I'm not saying, because I completely understand
Just
it.
keep everybody safe. Yeah,
Right, yeah, because in their way, I mean, in fact, I remember one clip where the officer actually told him that way it can't be said you reaching for something, and I have to quote unquote shoot you. So
yeah,
if you're in handcuffs, it's like that's actually more protection to you because while it's not impossible, it's a lot harder for me to defend myself to say that you reach for something if you're in handcuffs. So I mean, but no, he let this dude just, and then sure enough, he had a strap on his back end, and I mean, and it was just Ah, and listen, it's when I watch these cases, um, I don't know if you guys have been following, but Seattle kind of made the national news that right now there is I don't mean a big one, I mean a really big shortage of police officers in Seattle. If I
yep.
call
yeah.
911, I should not expect any help for 20 minutes, even if I'm calling in gunshots, shots fired. That's just that's the expectation now.
What what happened? Did people leave the forest, or like they just
Yeah, they're leaving the
fired
force in
people?
droves. They feel like that the rules they have to follow after the Justice Department, um, findings have been implemented. They found that they can't do their jobs properly, and that they're not social workers and they're not babysitters because it's true. I mean, a lot of the times a police officer is dealing with the mentally ill, or the I mean, because the narcotic and the opioid epidemic in Seattle is real. It is very real because they're walking into my bank high off their fucking ass. It just happened 2 days ago, and it just, I mean, and at this point, I don't even bother. I used to call the police and everything. Now I don't bother unless they have a weapon or show some sorts of, But if they yell and everything, even if they throw a chair or something, it's just that's just what I just tell people. That's just life in Seattle now.
That's crazy that they left the force. I mean,
Yeah, a lot of them.
I get why they would, but like it's a lot of money. It's
I
just
mean, and the thing though is that it, it's just that I don't blame them. I mean, because you're always being everything you do is scrutinized, and everything that and what this and then by them leaving the force, then this is where what TGS was saying is like, now you get the people they're applying, and the people that maybe they not would have taken 5 or 10 years ago. Okay, you have an iffy little history. Okay, you shot 25 people while we was over in Afghanistan, and nobody knows why. But okay, you okay? Okay, let's go ahead and put you in the uniform.
I should probably
And
look this up.
I mean,
Wash.
and it's yeah, I mean it's serious now, and like I said, the opioid crisis in Seattle is no joke.
Um, have you been following what's happening in San Francisco?
I'm afraid to ask.
Like, have you heard any? Like, have you heard about like how they have like a massive hepatitis? What's the hepatitis you get from like
See,
politi? Yeah, see,
Pepsi. Yeah,
Hep C,
A
or
hepatitis
like
C
a bunch of
outbreak?
yeah, that was all over San Diego too. Actually, before
Wow.
we
San Diego,
before we
LA.
left, hepatitis. There was a huge outbreak all over downtown, and those homeless. It's that shit is no fucking joke, dude. That was a big deal. But we
Oh,
didn't live in that like area ish, so it didn't really affect us. But it was they were like closing off the certain streets and roads that are very popular to even just walk down. So that hepatitis shit that was fucking nuts. I remember that.
and we've also I actually in the related. Well, I don't know about related, but there is another story that's kind of developing and is actually impacted. Me and my manager talked about it. So a few Starbucks employees have made um, formal complaints with the company to address the issues with getting stuck with needles. People go
What?
into the bathrooms and they shoot up, and then um, they throw the needle, leave the needles on the ground, etc. Now they have training now about how to handle needles, but the problem is that the two people that got stuck, it wasn't like they would pick up the needles off the ground. They got stuck because people threw the needles in the trash can when they was emptying the trash. That's how they
Oh
got stuck.
fuck!
Yeah, and so you know now it's like me and my boss was talking. It's like, no, because normally when people come in, we tell them no, there is no public bathroom, which is the truth. Because I feel like it's a really a gray area. On one hand, I don't want nobody to piss on themselves or shit themselves. On the other hand, though, it's easy to get set up. All someone has to do is to come in right 5 minutes before we close. Hey man, you have a restaurant I can use, and then they can just stay and then just rob us as soon as we close the door. In fact, that's
Yeah.
happened on more than one occasion.
Is there
And
a big homeless population in Seattle?
yes,
There is, of
it
It's
it,
course.
really
it
bad
it's
there.
it's really really fucking bad. It looks like something out of a movie, like District 9 type shit.
You know what? Have you heard about this shit in Portland too?
Probably the same problem. I mean, you normally work.
Yeah, it's even worse. And then, but the thing is, like, Antifa is actually like running that city, and the cops aren't doing anything about it. Like, they're actually like running traffic and blocking off roads and doing all this fucking crazy whack job shit, and like just attacking innocent walking people and beating the shit out of people's cars that are like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, there's one guy that follows like all of it that lives there, and it is really, really fucking is nuts to look at. I'll
And,
find some.
and you know, and this is what I'm saying. And when people get on the radio and they go to these city council meetings and they be yelling for the defense of the homeless, and I go, at first I was more sympathetic, but then after working in Seattle downtown for the past 3.5 years, I've come to the point is that, listen, these people aren't and they cannot just sit there and just camp out, causing, leaving behind trash, human waste, diseases, etc. I was like,
Mhm.
and the thing about it though is not like, I mean, and here the thing is that Seattle has homeless shelters all around. They have
Yeah,
empty beds. They have caseworkers. They're waiting to take their cases, and a lot of these people don't want the help.
no,
And so now I'm like, no, if you don't want the help, I don't care. You know what, you can camp out and whatever you want, it just won't be here. You like,
yeah,
you take your ass out there in a nice remote area and everything. You're not going to sit there and because I mean, and with the opioid epidemic and everything, another thing that people have been doing, the homeless, is those in RVs, and they'll park their RVs, and and because of red tape, it's hard to get them towed and etc. And not to mention, you cannot legally tow them when there's someone inside an RV, no matter how many tickets it has. So so you get somebody that's in an RV that's strung out on heroin, and everything, and it's they the cops try to get them into some type of treatment program. They don't want it, etc. Meanwhile, the cop leaves. Anyway, the cop gets called back because this person just tried to break into cars or houses on that street that the RV is parked on, and it just goes round and round and round and round. And yes, they get picked up, but with the amount of caseload there is, and a lot of stuff that's in the courts, a lot of the times, they get released on their own, like, recognizance, and they just go back, and and it becomes just it's just a vicious cycle that does not end. And again, now I'm almost to the point where I'm like, round them up and just take them out in the middle of nowhere and dump them. I'm like, okay, when you want help, here's a little phone. You can dial us when you need help. Until then, there's a shovel for you to dig to take a shit in. There's a bucket.
no, the Skeletor G.
I'm like, and you know what? As you're on farmland, I'm sure you maybe find some type of something edible to eat. But like, now, because again, you don't want any help, fine. We're not gonna force you to get any help, but you can't live there. Sorry.
That's crazy.
It is
And
But
crazy. It is
but
crazy
here's
when
the
they.
thing, like what's weird is like you're like kind of seeing it now where you are, but the whole time I lived in California, I just got used to it immediately. What they do is they go to the beach parking lots with their RVs and they just never leave. And then they call shit everything you just said, but it's at like the beaches. Like, there's some beaches like you just don't go to now because they've been fucking ruined. And there's like communities, and the cops just don't do fucking shit.
Right. And the thing
So what are you
about it
gonna do?
though,
You're gonna take your family to that fucking place? Like, get the fuck out of here.
and I have to restrain myself because I bump into them, at work, or going to lunch, or walking outside. Hey man, can I get some change? I'm like, no, you can't get no fucking change. I am not going to fund your fucking habit. There's a shelter right down the street. They have this how to hold a sign that says anything will help. Okay, let me give you some advice that will help. Take your ass down there to that shelter right there. There's a shelter right there. I was like, there is no way you're gonna try to tell me you starving to death. In fact, I
Yeah.
guarantee you, you go to any of these restaurants and say, I'm hungry. Would you please feed me? I bet they'll give you some food. But you're not gonna sit there and try to do tug at people's hearts and like, oh, come help me. I'm gonna help you with some advice, but I'm not giving you any fucking money. And then they get mad and give me your face. I'm like, you're gonna step off. I'm gonna hurt you. I don't give a fuck what you strung out on. You're gonna be strung out on some pain in a minute. Stop
Hmm.
fucking around with me. Stop harassing me every fucking day when all I'm trying to do is get some lunch. You don't want help. You want a fix. I'm not here to provide you a fucking fix.
There's only one example worse than that, and I know for a fact Blam Blam had seen this too. There was a big, 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 like cop bust of all these people that were begging. They were pretending to be homeless and begging for money as veterans, and they were they were just they would go to like the Goodwills or whatever they have where you guys are, with like the Goodwills or the thrift stops in San Diego, and they would just buy old like fatigues and old other stuff, and then just like make the signs like, oh, I'm this, that, and the other, and then they'd make like 40 or $50,000 a year just from doing that and drive home every single day. And like it wasn't just like one person, like a ton of people did do that. And like that to me is that's I don't even know what that is. But what you're saying is horrible too. It's just a different example of it.
No, I mean, like this motherfucker sit there. This is like 2 weeks ago. Had a sign talking about, please help me. I have nothing and da 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 da. I'm like, dude, you wearing Air Force Ones?
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
you
you're
got the
wearing
nerve.
$100 pair of shoes,
Yeah,
then
exactly. Your Air Force Ones look better than mine.
hold on, I'll get it for you.
I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
What is he getting?
I'm guessing was he was he talking with his wife? I'm not sure. But man, I'm
Um,
like, come on, man.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm like, nah, dude.
oh, Bunk is what's the minimum wage over there?
$15.
15.
Oof.
What happened to like the employment rate and stuff like that when it happened over there?
The jobs are gonna disappear through attrition. That's what the corporations are doing.
Like, did it happened like a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, but
2 years
it's
ago.
like it's so in Seattle. As of last year, but then it's going to expand because it's not statewide. So, but it is expanding to Tacoma, in the upper Snohomish County, and I mean, so it's going to be eventually all the populated parts of western part of Washington State will have a minimum wage of $15, and um, but again, it doesn't really help. And because the thing about it though is that you're great. 50, $15 an hour, great. Meanwhile, a shack here costs a half million. I would never be able to afford a house here. It's a foregone conclusion.
Do you guys have a lot of automated like terminals and like McDonald's and shit like that?
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
With
But
this homeless problem in a lot of the big cities and everything, and like a lot of jobs going away because of automation
well, I mean,
over years and years,
well,
and
I
then
mean,
and then
there.
people want like if you talk about immigration restrictions or anything like that, people are like, "Oh my god, you can't do that shit. We should let anyone they want to that wants to come here to let them come here." And and then we talk about like freaking what's that shit called? the the immi- the fucking what was that monthly income policy that people want to do now because of AI?
Oh,
Or the universal basic income.
yeah, UBI.
So like, how is that gonna work if you let immigrants keep coming and coming, and then you're gonna implement some shit like that, and then jobs going away? Like it's like a
It's a bad
doesn't make
movie
any sense.
script. It's a really bad movie script, but it's real.
Well,
People
I mean,
really are
I
so
mean,
short-sighted. They don't think of it.
well, I
I
mean, it's
I
kind
mean,
of
even if you
interesting.
don't have the universal basic income, like jobs are still going to go away. So like these people coming from other countries, what the fuck are they gonna do? It's
Well,
just gonna increase the homeless welfare state and shit like that. Like,
Yeah, and the
it,
exploitation, like universal basic income in the way that everything works now. I don't know if it could ever work, but in the way that this country is, and like you're talking about with the immigration, it would kill the country. It really would.
you,
also, we have 300 million people in the country already. We already have people that don't have jobs here that need help. And then you want more people to come here that need help. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? Why can't we just focus on the people that need help right now in
because
the country?
because
And
you're a
then why
fucking
the fuck?
racist Nazi. You are you are KKK. If you say anything like that, you really are like. And it is funny because like we can all laugh about it, but
I mean,
that's
I always say
crazy.
this much, and I always when people talk about immigration from Mexico, and to me, I always ask one question. I'm like, you know what? From what I have seen of Mexico, and I'm like, the United States have invaded over less. I
Yeah,
understand. You know what? If I mean, if it's, it's interesting that I have never ever seen a president actually, say, "Hey, this shit that's going to Mexico." Because I mean, let's talk about the cause. To me, the whole immigration from Mexico, I mean, that's a symptom of a bigger problem. Problem is that Mexico, a lot of parts of Mexico, you don't want to be in, whether you're native or not. But nobody ever really talks about that. Like, it's a hellhole. Okay. He's like, okay, we're gonna go in there and take some shit over. We're gonna kind of turn this shit around. Just like they tried to do the shit with Iraq. I'm like, but you don't hear anybody ever do anything like that. Well, but if you're gonna talk about the true cause of why people are illegally, people are like, well, they're all. I mean, um, I see all of the smearing. All those people that are immigrating here are just here to be trafficking for drugs. Possibly, some of them are doing that. Some of them may be doing it willingly. Some of them may be forced into doing it. Some of them are just probably trying
yeah,
to survive. But arresting them and deporting them, putting them back into Mexico does not do any good.
yo, it becomes what the fucking South Park people did all those years ago. Why are we the world police? Like why? Mr. Met is right though. Like we don't focus enough on ourselves. Like unfortunate things happen to everybody of all walks of life, whether you're in like Brazil or Mexico or Japan or the USA or Iraq. It doesn't fucking matter. Like sometimes people are just gonna get put into like fuck situations, and it's not to sound like cold or whatever, but it's not. It should not always be the United States' responsibility to
Uh,
do everything for everybody else while not taking care of people here first.
Agreed. But the only difference here is that we're seeing a direct um, we're seeing a direct correlation between obviously I mean we're not seeing a massive ingress of people from Canada. I mean, but we are seeing it from Mexico. So my question I always ask is why all these people are running up into the United States?
You
You know,
know, almost half of the illegal immigrants that come here are from expired visas because we don't do shit to those people. you could
Yeah,
just stay here if you don't overstay your visa,
Okay.
and then half a lot of the immigrants are from like Asian countries, Chinese, and all the people. They're taking up our jobs too. It's not
yeah,
just like
they're
Mexicans
smart.
or like
Yeah,
freaking South Americans.
and I know people that I worked with that are really good people that are, I think are still. Well, I knew they were illegal then when I was living in California. I don't think anything's changed, and it's just common. So it's not like I'm saying that without seeing that there are really good people that are going to take advantage of it and do the right thing as far as shit you got out of a bad situation in this case it's in Mexico and then you're not fucking it up, you know what I mean? So you're doing the best with what you have, and the whole becoming legal thing is rough there in San Diego. I don't know like how bad it is, but I heard things, so I don't want to talk too much about like the specifics. But I get I get it from everybody. Like the whole side, it just sucks. It just sucks. Like the whole situation sucks. We should be more focused on helping. Like if we're gonna help, then other countries need to be actually given help and not like taken over, like what the USA has done with other countries, where they're like, oh, we're gonna fix you guys, and like taken over like that. That's not the option either. But
The,
they need help.
right, right. And there lies. There's no doubt that the immigration process is broken, especially people who are trying to legitimize legitimize the staying in the United States. But all I'm saying is, though, you're right. The United States should not and should not be expected to be the world's police. But in this case, since they're literally running over into our country,
Yes,
my question is this: is that why isn't no one in the United States holding Mexico responsible? Like, wait a minute, you have all of your people running into our
because
country.
that's racist.
Oh,
That's
What
why.
a
And
oh,
what
it's
a
not
new
that it's actually racist, but that's literally the argument that would come up. They're like,
the
"Oh, you're fucking racist. Oh, you don't
oh,
understand."
okay,
You know?
yeah. I mean, you're right. And I'm just
the
asking.
new Mexican president. He's actually promoting people to come to the United States.
Well,
Yeah.
that's great. I mean, well, I mean, and I'm so because that's always been my thing about it is that I'm like, hey, get a grip. I mean, if you tell the either you get a grip or we will get a grip for you. I'm like, you cannot keep on having this situation where it's like the wild, wild west in your country. People are like, fuck this. I mean, and then like, and they're going to come up, no, 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 no. I mean, and the thing about it though is the United States through especially through and the United Kingdom and France and they have done this in other parts of the world where they have annexed the land and then they take out whoever was the land or the leader there and put their own leaders in there. I'm just surprised they haven't done it in Mexico. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Well, a lot of the politicians just straight up get killed there. Like even before you make it into office, like if you're in the wrong like thought tanker, you piss off the wrong people or the cartels or whatever, like they'll just kill you.
But
If
I
you look
mean,
up political assassinations, Mexico, you won't even know where to start, dude.
but
you
but
won't
but
you won't even know where to
it's
start.
right, and I guess my point is that it is obvious that the answer to my question is that the Mexican drug cartels have bought off the United States government, and that's
To
the
an
reason.
extent, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the reason why there's never even been meaningful. It's like, hey, it's like, wait a minute, okay, Mexico. I mean, it's out. No, it's out of control. Da, 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 it's chaos. Da, da, da. We need to go in there. No, you don't hear any any U.S. government official ever say anything like that. Like we need to go in there and clean. No, 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 no. Mexico is our friends. Mexico is our trading partner. And da 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 da. Now, okay, but meanwhile, we have an immigration issue here. People are fleeing your country into ours. We need to stop. But no one's ever going to talk about that. They always talk about them getting it. What happens after they get here? I'm talking about why they're getting here in the first, why they're leaving in the first place. But again, whatever for whatever reason, that part never gets talked about.
You're right. I agree.
Like Glenn was talking to his one of his sons, who's like a community leader person in Chicago. He was talking about how there's like a little bit of tension between the blacks and Mexicans in Chicago because they have like contouring. I guess they're both trying to get ahead, but like the Mexicans are kind of like taking over. They're kind of like taking over the jobs over there now, a lot of the power, and then it's a lot of creating a lot of like interesting tension there now. I guess it's kind of leads to the immigration and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Fuck, man, that's so. Ugh. You can't win on that topic. Like that's the other thing. You just cannot win on that topic.
No, it just shows you how deep it just shows you how deep the corruption goes. It's
Yeah.
just like that I can't remember the name of the series on Netflix I've been watching, but there's a whole episode about HSBC Bank and how the Mexican drug cartels run it. And not only do
Yeah.
they run it, but they know, of course, HSBC, their branches in the United States too. And the it was the it was the it was the Attorney General for Virginia. It was Virginia, West Virginia, who was going after, the bigwigs that are letting this happen, and all of a sudden you see the U.S. Justice Department, the FBI, they go in there and they call off the whole thing. They're like, oh, it's okay, they're good, they're fine, and everything, and the charges that the Virginia prosecutor brought against them all dropped. They all let go. All the executives let go. I mean, nothing happened. And I remember turning that off. I'm going, motherfucker. I mean, and it's just, and I mean, that's what I'm saying is that it's chaos in that country, and I don't blame people that don't want to be in part of it and trying to find somewhere else safe to live. And compared to Mexico, the United States is paradise. So I understand. For those who are trying to, as opposed to those who are just coming here to become part of the drug trade and all of that. Obviously, those people should be taken out and shot. But for the people out there that are just trying to make a better life for themselves, I completely understand it. But I just feel like the whole immigration issue, they're talking about the symptom, but not the problem.
I mean, the other problem is like, how do you fix it? Like I said, that it's all going to come back to that. How do we fix this?
You can't fix
I
it.
know, you can't, but that's why it's impossible.
You know,
It's
what I meant to say is that you can't fix it if the whole government is bought off. I mean, if the freaking government, the people that you people vote for are in on it, there's no chance of fixing it. Not that it could be fixed anyway, but I'm just saying is that it's a non-starter. It don't help if your freaking people representatives or the people are working for the enemy.
yeah, or they just don't care because they're just getting
Yeah,
it's just about money.
exactly.
It's just
Is
money.
yeah. I mean, so until you deal with that, and I tell people all the time, when they talk about the immigration issue, until you deal with that shit, none of this matters. None of this matters. I mean, it does not, because no matter what type of immigration law you're going to put forth and et cetera, you're still not getting to the root of the problem.
Yeah,
They say you. I
I
mean,
think
so I mean, put me on
even
that,
if it gets fixed,
huh?
I think even if it gets fixed, it's gonna. Uh, Jim, did you listen to Sam Harris like two podcasts ago? I
which
posted
one?
it in the political channel.
Hold on. Oh yeah, that was really good.
He talked about how UBI people only think of it in like a singular nation way, but like he brought up how this whole AI and whatever the jobs getting displaced, it's it's gonna in the rich countries like USA or some Western Europe countries, maybe China, it's gonna be okay.
Mhm.
But like every other country, all that shit is gonna go away. It's gonna be all automated, so they have no jobs. So you're gonna have like maybe like 2 billion people with like westernized. They're still gonna be okay with the UBM stuff, but like everyone else, they're gonna have nothing,
Mhm.
creating nothing, no industry at all. That shit's gonna
No,
be,
literally just worthless,
and
basically.
that might be in the near future, maybe like 20, 30 years, if that. Like imagine living through that shit. It's gonna be that shit is gonna be freaking interesting.
We'll
You may,
probably all still be on like IRC.
Yeah.
you know what? Right. I mean, but is it going to be Great Depression 2.0?
Oh, it's gonna be like, what would you even call that?
I
I
don't.
wonder what that era
I
is gonna be called.
no. It's just gonna be like the
The
rise of the
Great
killbots.
Revolution.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the great killbots.
Terminator. Just call it Terminator, okay?
Well, yeah, they're literally just gonna Skynet, bro. That shit is gonna happen, whether we like it or not. And that's the other thing that's scary.
It
Not
is
to
scary.
tangent
It is
too hard, but
scary.
it
I
is
mean,
fucking scary.
I guess the reason why it's scary for me is just because I just noticed that all of the tech conferences this past calendar year have all focused on AI. Where you talking about Google or Microsoft or any of the big major technology players, they're pouring all of their resources into AI, and as I said before, when man gets in a collaborative effort to accomplish a singular goal, it's amazing what they're able to accomplish, and that can be for the good or for the bad. And it is it is no doubt in my mind that there's definitely concerted efforts to accelerate the AI, the deployment of AI in every facet of life.
It's gonna happen so quick.
It's got to happen, because I always thought, the whole Edward Snowden thing about, the whistleblowing or about all of the surveillance that is done on people. But that's only one part of it. I mean, that's one part of it. So you have all this information, but you got to have something to be able to interpret all of that information. And that's where AI comes in. I mean, yes, they have all of this information, but it's too much information for even a group of people to try to assimilate. You're going to have to create an intelligence smart enough to interpret the data, and then uh, how that data is just
Used,
used,
manipulated,
right?
stored.
Yeah, and how it's used and how it's presented. That's what the word I'm saying. How it's presented to those who are collecting it.
Yeah, like even in terms of if you look at it from if they're tracking crime, well, when's it gonna? How are they going to actually later on? Not initially, but the AI itself. What will its moral compass be of right and wrong?
But you know what? There's gonna be, but just like in RoboCop, the real bad one, the latest one, it's a real.
I didn't see that.
You didn't see that, but they're saying that
No.
by virtue of being AI, as in that means that it's not capable of human bias or discrimination, which is a hogwash. That's a
I
strong.
know, but
But that's
okay.
people who are
So
gonna. So
there
there's
are certain there are religions that conflict greatly with the definitions of right and wrong,
oh, of course,
and there are cultures as well that greatly do it. So when AI does become, because it's not if, it's when they
right,
do become like the authority on this, I want to. What the fuck are they gonna pick? Like what?
right.
How are they going to come to the conclusion of what's right and what's wrong, and like the
That's
levels
true.
of what crimes are? Because
That's
even right
true.
now, like it's not right. Obviously, like the way crimes are punished, not all of them are punished equally. You get people thrown in jail
But you
for
know what? But
tens of years over like minuscule fucking drug charges. Like that's why so many black people are in fucking jail over bullshit drug charges.
right.
And then you get other people like that get caught being a fucking pedophile or a sex offender
But
and all this other shit, and then they get like probation or like nothing, like a slap on the wrist. I'm just interested to see how they're going to judge it. That's all.
Jim, but it's interesting you mentioned religion, but do you realize that there's a lot of people, myself included, that um that they're how can I put this? That the deployment of AI, how can I say this? What do I want to use?
Just say
That the deployment of AI is probably the Antichrist. I mean, in other words, there's a lot of symbolic, I should say, prophecies and revelations, but there's a lot of people who believe that this stuff, for I guess for lack of a better analogy, what you saw in Terminator, that shit is real. That it
yeah.
is going to get to a point where, and then the question is, as you just said, you just asked a very important question: who's going to make that decision? What's right and what's wrong? Because if you're on the wrong side of it, obviously you're fucked.
Peter, I heard Peter Thiel in one of his later books. He wrote that the first implementation of like AI technology, or whatever, is to control how people think or like censor out what people think or the wrong think. That's probably going to be the first implementation of it, which is kind of happening right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's being implemented. I mean, they don't call it programming for nothing. But I think that the AI part of it is scary because now, as I said, mass surveillance. We know that's happening, right? So
Yeah.
we know that's happening. Once they deploy the AI and find out who is doing what, where, when, why, and how, it's going to be a lot easier to this person leans towards these views, whether there be political views, religious views, what have you. It's be very easy to start singling people out. Oh, you lean this way, you lean that way, you're the enemy.
Yeah, they're already doing that.
Right, but and imagine doing that on a national or even a global scale. That's the deployment of AI that people are really fearing.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's gonna be one hell of a fucking ride. I don't even know if I want to see it.
Yeah, you know what I always said, there's a saying, may you live in uninteresting times. Unfortunately, this is not one of those. This is not one of those. I wanted to talk a little bit about uh there is rumors that Marvel versus Capcom is getting a relaunch.
What?
They're gonna brand it as Marvel versus Capcom 4. And
But
now the question is that the leaker who's credible in some of the leaks and some other things is saying that it's very early. And um you should not expect it before 2 years. And again, there's no telling if this is just simply a new game altogether, or is it simply um an expansion or heavily revised Marvel's Capcom Infinite. No one knows. However, it is interesting to note that where do you guys know where Peter Rose is, who he works for now?
no.
Combo Fiend works for Marvel.
Huh.
Yeah.
Riddle me this.
Really, I can own, but you know what? You know what? It's interesting because Marvel's Capcom Infinite, um, you could tell the game was. You know what? It's interesting. That game is two. It's the tale of two halves. On the gameplay and the net code, they put in their work on those. the overall the aesthetics, the design, the story mode, all of that was obviously rushed, and it was horrible. It looked worse than MVC3. So I mean, obviously they got to a certain point and like, okay, we got to finish this up. So Maximilian has a theory, and I think I agree with it. The reason why Capcom has not said anything about this is because they kind of want you to forget about Marvel's Capcom Infinite because of all of the bad press it got. So then when they
Mhm.
are ready to talk about the next Marvel game, it won't carry the baggage from Marvel's Capcom Infinite, which I can understand that. Um, and apparently that now, by the way, the Fox deal is going through in January. So the whole, even I still don't believe it was never an issue to begin with, but the whole rights to the Marvel versus Marvel characters and all that now, obviously that's completely out the window now. Um, we'll see, but and speaking of fighting games, so on the 23rd, Capcom is dropping an update for Street Fighter V to reduce the input delay. Now this is interesting because um while for a lot of players this would be a welcome change, but there are going to be some characters that will get fucked over because there are certain characters because certain moves have depend on that delay, and now it'll be a lot easier to punish or to even interrupt. Now, if they reduce the input delay by a good frame and a half, which it seems likely, that will actually make things. I mean, that will be the difference between um, a move coming out and a move not.
Yeah.
So it's so far they have not said that if that is all inclusive of the update or there's something other stuff coming with it. So we'll have to see on that. But
Yeah, they'd have to adjust a lot of frame data to not have a big impact on certain characters.
yeah, and so
And let's just be honest here, that won't happen. And if it does happen, it'll happen much later
now I was thinking
after the
that's what
fact.
probably what season 4 was. The next balance patch. I assumed will that will be.
Didn't the Monster Hunter guy take over the fighting game division or
Yes,
Yes,
something?
yes.
yes, he
And
has.
Ono got sent on vacation again.
He
He
and it's
he
interesting
died.
though because I have to say that over the last few months I have been very pleased at what Capcom has done as far as like the reveals and stuff.
Internally. Oh yeah, their PR's actually been much better.
I mean, Cody reveal was really hype, and what they did at Evo was really hype. And so shoot, maybe this will be um maybe this will be a turnaround, and maybe they're gonna do what we talked about before. I still don't. I'm still not in favor of changing the game mechanics too much because I think it's too late for that. I think that now they should just work on just fixing what can be fixed, like the input delay, and where just make it the best it can be. Because honestly, especially for a game that's currently being used on a tour with hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line, you can't just go in there and start adding, um, you know, heavily game changing mechanics. I think that just it will be disaster. I think X Cura, by the way, this data miner, I think he needs to understand that Capcom is putting red herrings in those data in those files because
They know what they're doing.
yeah, I mean like it's like he is like they're putting stuff in there and they're keeping him up night after night and like, oh, look what I found here and there. I'm like, does he not realize that they're probably playing his ass?
Yeah. I don't know. You're right. It's too late for that game as far as a restructure entirely. There'd be no point. Just make Street Fighter 6. But they got to do something. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, hey, you know what? Fix the input delay, especially fix the variable input delay on console. You need to fix that on PS4 pronto. Fix that, fix the netcode, and then let it rock. And because at the end of the day, the people that stop playing the game are not going to come back to it, no matter what you
Yeah,
do.
it's already over for some of us.
Right. So, I mean, so it's no, all you're going to do is just piss off the people that do like the game as it is.
Yeah,
So just learn, lick your wounds, learn what you learn from this, and then, um, just start putting, a good foot forward with Street Fighter 6, or I think they're calling it Street Fighter
whatever.
Origins or
Yeah,
whatever.
but speaking of Street Fighter, an ex guest of the show got married today, Mr. Seth Killian. I know he won't hear this, but congratulations if you do hear
Oh, he got married. Congratulations to
that.
Mr. and Mrs. Killian.
Nice.
Yeah, as I saw that, and I was like, oh man, that's pretty cool. And the obvious thing that jumped into my head after, like, oh, that somebody else got married was, do you think he cried as much as he did at the end of Evo's? Because he's a very emotional person. Like, do you think he was up there like crying at the vows? Like, I could see it, and there's no harm in that. It's just, I see how he gets so emotional about things he's passionate about, like his wedding day. I can only fucking imagine.
And you know, it. I remember, was it the year before last when people were kind of getting on James Chen about that because he just completely had a, I don't know, a meltdown is a strong word, but the dude was just,
No, he's a meltdown in real life. Now he is. But I
yeah,
know what you're talking about.
yeah. But I'm like, because at first I was like, is something wrong? I'm like, okay, man, it's okay. Nobody died. You
It's like
know,
you will be back next year to do the same thing.
I know
Like,
it's like it's just it was. Oh my gosh, it's. I tell you, I mean, you know what? To be honest with you, let me. I'm gonna ask you guys this question, and I want your answer.
okay.
Has there anything video game related that's ever made not cry, but even just put a lump in your throat, or even make some tears well up? It could be anything video game related.
I mean, no.
Like a video game itself, or like
I mean, it could be anything video game. Like, okay, I'll go first. Yes. So there's a game that makes me choke up, and it's one of my favorite tunes as music. I love music, but is the ending theme for Super Mario World, and I only because I remember how happy I was when I got the Super Nintendo. So it was more of it's a time travel for me. It takes me back to a time where I was so elated. Um, when I got my Super Nintendo, when I played Super Mario World and I played Zelda. So when I hear the theme, it kind of takes me back there. And I mean, I know it doesn't make me cry, but I get a lump in my throat because it was, and it also kind of reminds me of my brother too. There was also playing Street Fighter 2 Turbo on there. Me and my brother playing 500 matches of that. It was so.
Yes, then my answer is yes. I didn't understand exactly what you meant when you
No,
said that.
okay.
And this is actually really recent. We just bought a new piano, and I was dicking around on it because it's whatever. But I have the kid; I can't really be playing seriously when she's around. So she loves it, and she comes and she plays. And I learned the Bubble Bobble theme on accident,
Mm-mm.
and my kid loves that fucking song. And I remember like that was the one game my mom would play with me and my sister all the time. It's like there's the only video game I ever remember playing with my parents was Bubble Bobble.
Mm.
So I didn't cry or anything, but I'm like every time I play it and I see how happy she is, I'm like that's fucking crazy.
cool.
Yeah, and again, it was. By the way,
Fucking Bubble Bobble of all the games,
Bubble Bobble.
of all the fucking games, Bubble Bobble.
Oh, speaking of which, um, I was listening. Some dude and his friends they record. I mean, this is another tune that gets a thumb. The ending of Legend of Zelda: The Link to the Past. They're the guy he played it. This is all live instruments, and it goes on and on. And his friends join him. That one plays the trombone, the other plays trumpet. Also, the guy here, he's playing it on his violin and also the viola, and plays the flute part as well. Kid's really talented. And I mean, this is another one where makes me miss the eye only because Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past is it's the top two. Um, as far as I can't even tell you what the other game is, but if you're gonna ask me, what was my favorite game of all time, um, I that game, Link to the Past, will always stick out as being, if not the game, it's top two for me. And a lot of that is because the game, of course, the game was great. Um, but also again, it transports me to a time where I was extremely happy when I got my Super Nintendo. Um, the build up from the time that it was announced to the time that it was released. Um, I did cry. I remember I did cry when I got it. And I was what 12 years old at the time. But and also because I know Koji Kondo, who wrote most of the Mario and Zelda music that we know today. Um, that dude knows how to write a melody that really gets you in the feels, as they say. And um, I don't know. I mean, like I said, uh, also this also actually I think this is the game Legend of Zelda. This particular song here I think is what ultimately led up to me for taking up the viola and then switching to the violin later. I think it was actually this song, actually. Now I think about it. Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was it.
It's crazy though that we had the same thing with like it's the music part of it, not even so much of the triggers of anything else, but the way that music can trigger you to remember so well certain things and
Mm,
have that real nostalgia to it. It's a very powerful thing that I feel like people take for granted, and you know kids now won't have it as much,
no,
so to speak, at
no,
all.
no.
And it's not even like old man yelling on porch shit. I mean, because like look at all of the schools that have cut music out. Like it's 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 a very large problem, and that's what happens when we stop trying to teach our kids this shit. Is they end up on a fucking laptop that does everything fucking for them, and
Right.
it's all emotionless, and it all sounds exactly the goddamn same, and nobody has anything actually interesting to say in popular times.
I like Smash TV music. That shit was cool.
Yeah, that's good shit.
Kirby was my favorite NES game, I think. That shit.
I mean, it was just. I mean, and I also think about this. I went to in St. Louis. I was in Normandy School District, and that was a poor school district. And but I remember the superintendent um said once he said, we don't have much, but we will always have a music program as long as I'm the superintendent here. And he kept to his word. And I remember when in high school, in my not my freshman and sophomore year, we used to go to competitions. You know, everyone else was playing "Mary, Mary Had a Little Lamb," and then we went up there and then we gave the judges the music, the score, and the judges are like, "Okay, you're gonna play Shostakovich, and then you're gonna play Mendelssohn," and they all look it up. I was like, and the teacher's like, "Yeah, that's what we're gonna play." And the judges were just like, wow. I mean this is a high school in a poor school district playing pieces that you normally only hear the St. Louis Symphony plays. And only that, we did play with the St. Louis Symphony, and that was televised. um and that's probably the most memorable experiences in my entire life that's music related, is playing with the St. Louis Symphony, in front of TV cameras. And my mom was there, my brothers were there, my grandmother was there, and and to your point, Jim, and now these kids nowadays are going to be denied those type of experiences, which just breaks my heart, to be honest with you.
I know it sucks, man.
Did I talk about the art and music schools last podcast in New York City?
You broke
No,
up
go
there.
ahead, man.
Oh, what was that?
So, so in New York City, um, we have a lot of prestigious public schools in New York City. We have Bronx Science, Stuyvesant, Brooklyn Tech, a couple others. So there's an issue where like these schools are dominated by a lot of Asians, maybe some white people, because it was done through a standardized test, like an entrance exam to enter those schools. But I guess small group of people they wanted to change that, saying it was unfair to these other kids that weren't getting in. So they changed it to a lottery system. I think the whole thing is a lottery system now, I believe. And this affects every public school, even the art and music schools. So the art and music schools were very shocked when it came to last month when it started. They're like, wow, we can't even audition music and art students and music students to get into our schools now. So I'm wondering how that's going to affect the music programs in New York City now. And in the music programs, a lot of those are minorities that got into those schools. But now it's like a lottery system. So how are they how is it going to really affect these schools now? There's no vetting process, like anyone to get into those schools now. Doesn't really make any sense.
That's fucking what? That okay.
uh,
Yeah.
I don't even know where to go with that.
I
That
mean,
is fucking. That is madness.
I'm trying to understand here. So you saying that?
They went from standardized like an entrance exam to like I believe they're gonna take like the top student from each public school into like a lottery system, and then that way, then they choose in that way, I believe. Now instead of like everyone taking the test and the smartest student to get into those schools or the best student get into like a music or art school, whatever. Now it's like total. It's just total luck. So now everyone's gonna go to like private schools or charter schools now. So it's gonna probably lower the quality of public schools. So it's gonna fuck up Stuyvesant and Brooklyn Tech and shit. I wonder how that shit gonna work.
I didn't even hear about that. That's insane.
And it's interesting though because unfortunately, this is like I I wish I don't even think that people know. Like for example, Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is a professional concert pianist, and what I mean by that is he actually went to Juilliard for it. So I mean, and people know that he plays the piano and the organ. I mean, everyone seen the movie Ray and everything. He's more than that. He can do much more than that. I wish that he actually puts that. I mean, he kind of he dabs in it as far as of um he does the impression of Ray Charles and etc. Which I think is cool for his gigs and stuff. But if the dude wanted to play Rachmaninoff, famous another very famous pianist, he could. I wish that he would do more to show show more of his talent. I mean, yes, he's a talented singer and obviously a talented actor, but he is actually a professional great pianist. I just wish that because I mean, and especially in minority communities, because in minority communities, especially black communities, sports is dominates their time, and the arts just falls to the wayside now to the point of almost non-existence. And and parents are equally involved in that. Like, hey, even if the parent sees that their child has an aptitude for an instrument, like, oh no, play some basketball, play some baseball, get that contract, get us out of here, and
Well, also, it's not even just the parents. It's the way it's looked at within the community as far as like their friends, their young friends. Like
right,
they'll get bullied and shit. It's like, oh, you don't want to play ball, then go fuck yourself. Like
right.
you're a little bitch. Oh, you want to go play piano? You're just a little bitch. And it's fucking sad. It's really sad, but that's real life, dude.
And so that's why like Jamie Foxx needs to come out and show, hey, yeah, yeah, I'm Jamie Foxx. This is what I can do. And, I mean, and because because someone needs to step up to the plate and take that stigma off. It's
Um,
okay to be a good pianist or
Well,
a
I
good
mean,
violinist or a good violist or a good flautist. I mean, it's okay.
it is okay, and there's a lot of people that like Ben Shapiro when he was 12 was playing masterclass shit on violin,
Mm,
but nobody fucking knows that because they think of him as the Nazi Jew,
mm,
literally.
mm.
Like, yeah, like I find that not as a whole, but I'd say most of the smartest people I've ever met in my life on like a broad scale were trained musically.
Mm.
I definitely think there's a correlation to that.
Did you ever see Luke Cage season one?
No, no.
I saw it. It was okay.
It was okay. Yeah.
But just to preface it, I haven't watched shit, dude. Oh, the only thing I do is I watch stand-ups because it's an hour of my time. Like I don't have the time anymore just to binge a whole show, and it sucks because that's what I would want to do. If I started something and I liked it, I would just want to sit and watch it, but I can't do that anymore.
No, no, Mr. Man, do you remember? I don't know if you. It's asking a lot for you to remember this because he wasn't a big player on the show, but there was this little Puerto Rican slash he's a Latino kid, Anyway, he's like the adopted son of the barbershop owner who gets killed, Pops,
Yeah.
and his little because he's trying to because this dude stole money from Cottonmouth. This dude and his friend and his partner who
Yeah, I
got
remember
lit
that.
up. Yeah. But anyway, the actor that portrayed, and by the way, I mean the crooked cop ends up killing this young, the character in the show is portrayed by this young man, this young Mexican dude. Anyway, I forgot his name. I'm sorry, but he's also another example. Talented violinist that went to school, no one ever knows about it. And I only knew it because I happened to look at his biology or his biography, and I'm going, wow. I mean, and it's as to your point, Jim. It's sad that their musical gifts are never actually. Not only are they not appreciated, but they're barely mentioned. It's barely worth mentioning. Just a footnote.
It is. It's fucked up, man.
I yeah I oh there is also a guy called on his YouTube channel. This dude he calls himself Noble Demon, and
Okay.
he you should check out some of his music. He done some remakes. Some he has a really good I don't know what you will call it for generating instrumental sounds, but like when he it sounds like a real orchestra when he does it. So he has really good sound sampling. Um, and he did I do have it up. I remember I told you earlier about Super Mario World.
Oh
So this
yes.
yeah, so this is his this is his I'll just play a few bars. But this is good. He's pretty good. Let's see here. And it goes on and on. But that dude is he's really good. He has several um themes that he does. And uh this was really well made. I almost to the point where I almost when I first heard it, I thought that this was this Nintendo.
Official music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that Nintendo just redone it. And but
He has a good sample, but that's not what's convincing you. It's actually well edited, if that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah,
If you know
yeah,
what I mean.
yeah.
No, it is a good thing, but the difference between that, because everybody could do that then. The difference between why that sounds like it's almost professional is that's actually mixed correctly. So, yeah, that's good.
Okay, hopefully I won't get a copyright strike now that I should.
Copy strike, copy strike, Bunkei, copy strike.
Yes,
We're playing some random person's YouTube. Imagine if that's what got you copy strike
I will be done.
out of all the things.
I will be done.
If that person, if that bitter fucker, you're the only person to ever promote him in the history of his life, and he copy strikes you.
if I get copy strike as a result of this, I will stop streaming on YouTube. That'll be the end of it.
I'm sorry. I love that word, man.
I mean,
I
yeah,
love that word.
but
It's so ridiculous. Do you remember the origin of that word? I know Mr. Matt knows.
Copy strike.
Yeah, that dumb girl who wanted to copy strike Beauty by it, and copy strike's not even a real fucking thing. It's just her being a dumbass. So that's why it's a good meme. But I did want to ask you, Mr. Matt brought this up when we did show suggestions. Sorry to change topic real quick. I was just
No, that's fine.
I clicked on the thing, but I saw it. The whole Don Lemon and then other people. Well, Donna Brazil said that Kanye, like embracing Trump, set black people back 155 years, aka back to slavery. And then and then Don Lemon, like the whitest black guy ever, like he is talking about how, you know, the black community hates Kanye now, and this, that, and the other. And he dropped the N bomb. Like I don't know. Apparently, I don't know. Everything is just like really fucking bad, really fucking bad. So I want to know what you thought about like the reaction to Kanye just, you know, talking to the president, and basically we all know what he's really doing. It's just really good promotion.
Yeah, I mean,
It's PR.
honestly, as I think I said this in the last show, I look at Kanye as the black Donald Trump because I don't pay any attention to what he says. He does not know how to formulate a coherent thought, and he's all over the place. I don't pay him any mind.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know you probably was hoping for a more colorful response, but I don't pay Kanye West any mind at all.
I know, but like, okay, forget that part of it then. Do you think it's normal or acceptable for a TV host of a political thing like you know, CNN in general, but like to basically Uncle Tom him out over that?
I'm not surprised.
The whole thing just gives me a fucking headache. Do you remember what was the guy's name from the fucking Boondocks?
Uncle Ruckus?
No, not Ruckus. Ruckus was hilarious. The
Huey?
no. The dad of the daughter.
Oh yeah. Tom.
Yeah, that is Don Lemon. Like that is Don Lemon, and he's talking shit, and it's like, are you fucking serious, dude? Like, just fucking stop. God, I missed that show. I need to go back and rewatch that, man. I forgot his fucking name. That was so good.
But the best thing about the Don Lemon thing was Herschel Walker just talking shit about.
Oh yeah, tell Ben about that.
He
Someone
was
say
just
Hershey's.
going on Twitter, people saying like people were shitting on Herschel for talking shit about Don Lemon, and Herschel's like, oh, because I have a different opinion, you're gonna call me like a. Oh, let me post it in the political channel. This is one of his replies.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm out of the loop on something. All this. I'm sorry. I guess I just.
That's fine. Yeah, he's right, dude. That's ridiculous.
It doesn't load for me on Twitter, but then again, Twitter.
Well, look what he's saying in the thing, and then think to yourself, why won't it load? It loaded for me, your browser.
Yeah, whenever I click on Twitter links, it whether it's from RC or Discord, it just seems like it never loads. Yeah, I'm sorry. It just spins.
Well, in Discord, it kind of like shows the content. Can't you see that?
Yeah, it shows like pretty much 90% of every tweet that you're gonna link. It's not gonna show. Actually, that shows the entire tweet, that one, but it's not gonna show you the other one. So and this bitch doubles down and then triples down after it. She's like, you're saying what was done was bullying and shameful, which it was not. In oh my god. And then, oh, but you support Trump, who literally bullies and insults people. You must be kidding me. How intellectually dishonest can you be? It's I I don't understand this planet anymore. I just don't get it.
Oh yeah, Bunkai. When you talk about like you guys talk about playing, no, Bunk was talking about playing the piano, and then you get like made fun of playing it, right?
Yeah.
You know how Glenn talks about that whole the issue of like black, like trying to be smart or like trying to act white, and then you get made fun of saying why you trying to act better than us or something like that. And then Glenn says if you bring up the issue, you get pushed back saying, "Oh no, it's not that big of an issue." Even with his son kept trying to push it back. But like, have you found that as an issue, Ben? Did you ever see shit like that happen?
One time when I guess I was in my early 20s. Some in the conversation, I just remember I was with my family or in my extended family, and so it was like, it's like, he's like, why are you trying to act white? I'm like, what is your definition of acting white? Just because I use proper grammar, or I'm trying to have a meaningful discussion. No, motherfucker, you set your bar too low. That's the fucking problem. But I mean, and in fact, that's actually had it happen a couple of times. Like people who talked to me on the phone, man, I thought you were white. Like you sound white on the phone. At first, I thought they were talking about my voice inflection, but that's because I just don't.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was just my voice inflection, but no, because I guess since I don't use ebonics when I talk to people, unless um unless I'm really mad or I'm imitating a comedian or something. Yeah, so yeah. I've actually been accused of sounding white before on a few occasions. And I was like, I don't understand that. I was like, sounding white, what does that mean?
Yeah, I remember you talking about that a lot of times on the
Yeah.
show.
I know, but that's funny because I never thought that. I thought for sure. I'm like, oh no, there's no way. And I ended up being right. In the old IRC, you guys know this. Everyone is presumed black until proven otherwise.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I heard Mr. Met talk once. I'm like, he's not black.
No, I'm like, but I think that um,
Do you think it might be a maybe not a huge issue, but it is an issue? If
I think that there are problems in the black community where if you speak your mind and you speak with confidence, etc., you're derided for it, and and it's sad. I mean, it's sad and it's sad. I don't even know how else to really to shape it as is, and to be looking and to look at someone, look down upon someone that speaks and is able to articulate for himself very well, as if that's something that shouldn't be done. I mean, that blows my mind.
Yeah, and to be playing a traditional instrument on top of that, that's just
yeah.
double suicide.
Oh yeah, and people find the violin, ha ha ha, fine.
Well, speaking
I'm
of
like,
um Glenn, his last show is Jean McWhorter. He talks about Obama. Like I think he met him or something when he was prior to Chicago when he was a senator. Oh no, community activist or yeah.
Whatever.
He
Yeah.
was talking about Obama's previous life, like when he was in college and all that. It's a pretty good listen. I will post it later. I would like your thoughts on that one. He goes on a big rant on Obama, and it's kind of funny.
I think we need to prep Ben better for certain things that we want to talk about. I think
Oh
we
yeah,
can.
yeah.
I think we can do a better job as far as
I'm sorry.
you
I
know.
mean, I mean, well, I mean, it's just that
No, there's too much shit, and you know what? Like honestly, how are you supposed to know a lot of this shit? Like, how am I supposed to know a lot of this shit?
mm,
But some of it, like
I see like the
Mr. Met and
posts.
I kind of follow the same shit a lot.
Yeah,
So
because I'm like, I see some posts that you guys make, but it's like I have a hard time because apparently it's just a only it's a slice of a larger pie, and for me to get it, I need to understand the context, and sometimes I just don't understand the context of certain like a certain tweets that people make and etc. I have no context to draw from. That's the only thing. That's
yeah,
but
I don't know. I think somebody that you should invest in watching. I know we've talked about him before on here, not tonight, but in general. You really should check out Mr. Medicare on YouTube. He's just an impartial motherfucker that just slams everybody. And there's a recent one he did where he exposed like all of these fucking fucked up furries that were doing bad things and decapitating animals and then having sex with their heads and all this shit. So the furry community, yeah. I'll get back to it. I'm gonna let that sink in for a second. I'm not done. This is just it'll be quick. So then he gets called out for calling that out, and somebody lies and says one of the furries lies and says, "Oh, well, this guy's a pedophile," and makes all these bold accusations. So the guy he goes onto a stream not too dissimilar to this to be like, "Okay, I'll talk to you. Like, what the fuck?" And the guy even says, "Well, I know you're not a pedophile. I'm not fucking with you." Meanwhile, this is the same guy who, within 5 minutes of Mr. Medica researching him, had found that his account has been posting pictures of what the fuck is that term? But fuck, furries use it for like a cub of a cub like with his mask on and like a pacifier and like a baby bottle but like half like naked and with their tails running around. And he's like, so you mean to tell me you thought it was a good idea to fucking try and call me a pedophile when you openly have this shit? And the guy's just like, yeah, that's my account. He's like, there's nothing illegal about it. I'm like, this whole fucking shit is just so crazy, man. It's crazy. But it's a black hole. Like you get sucked into this shit, and then next thing you know, you've just listened to exactly what I've just been talking about for 2 hours, thinking, what even is this world? But yeah, apparently that's a real thing that people do. Furries, not all of them, obviously, but yeah.
it was just I forgot who asked me. I can't remember. If someone asked, he's like, what do you think of it's like what do you think of Sonic Fox? I was like, and I remember thinking, oh yeah, because it was right after I was like, I read his Twitter how he describes himself. I'm like, oh my god, so he's not really hiding in a closet per se.
No.
I'm like, and I'm like, I told him that I don't think he's a furry, like in the classic sense of how the term is used. I think it's just, I think that it's, I'll say this much. I think it's less weird how he does it than Triforce's obsession with the power glove. I think that's weirder than what Sonic Fox
I
does.
think everybody's fucking weird. I
Oh,
think I'm weird. I think you're weird. I
right,
think
you know, but
everybody's
because it's like
fucking weird.
because it's not like I'm like I mean yes I know he he has the little tail and everything, but it's just an act. You know what I'm saying? And
I
it's
don't
like,
know, man.
I don't know. I mean, I don't see
I don't buy that. I don't think it's an act at all. I just think
in
it's
other
kind
words,
of
I
normal
don't, I
for
honestly,
people.
okay, okay. I'll say this much: on any given day, if I saw Sonic Fox going to the store to 7-Eleven, I don't think he's wearing a Sonic Fox tail.
I do.
I do.
I absolutely
I
do.
just don't, it just doesn't. He doesn't.
And I don't
You,
give a shit that he does. I'm just telling you. I definitely I see it. I
Now, if
can
he's
see it.
going to a tournament, yeah.
I don't know, man.
haven't you seen people like that?
But he doesn't. I don't know. He doesn't strike me as like.
I think you're just like I don't know. I think you're looking at it because he is. Holy fucking shit. Joe Rogan follows Sonic Fox.
Oh, are you serious?
Oh my god.
What?
Damn.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Joe Rogan follows.
No,
Sonic.
just go to Sonic Fox's fucking page.
That's
I was
crazy.
gonna go to try and find normal pictures of him. And Joe fucking Rogan.
Wow.
I'm a black queer furry who will mix up your shit in fighting.
He does talk about furs a lot. I guess.
Dude, he's absolutely a furry. And that's
I don't
like I
know.
said, who cares? To do what you do in your own fucking house, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
But
He's a
I
good
mean,
furry.
I definitely don't think it's an act.
No.
Well, I guess since he called him on his own self, I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
Imagine.
Maybe you know what? I mean, I might be biased only because um he, okay, he doesn't strike me as someone that's a furry. I mean, if you were to take all of that off of him, he doesn't strike me as someone that would be into that. I guess I should say.
But why? What? Okay. Let me even break that down even further. Forget Sonic Fox. What would make you think somebody could be a furry then? Like what would be a qualifying feature?
Ah. I mean, I would
Yeah,
expect that. I mean,
right. Like
it's hard to quantify it. For
yeah.
example, I guess you know what's. I mean, when I look at what Sonic Fox has posted on his Twitter, for example, or anything, he there's nothing. Maybe because I'm setting my bar too low. I'm not sure. Or there's nothing about him that screams furry. Other than of course he calls himself that. But it's like, but I mean, but when I look at his post, there's nothing out of, I mean, I guess I'm expecting something more weird from him, I guess. But I mean, yeah, he's described himself as he's a self-confessed queer furry. I guess but shoot, if he would have, man, it's just that like when they interview him after he wins a tournament and whatnot. He's normal.
You could be normal and be a furry, I guess.
I guess.
Sometimes.
I
I
mean,
guess I expect to.
what the fuck is normal?
I know. I just it's one of those things where it's just like the definition of porn. What is porn? Well, you know it when you see it. you know, um, so he's like I said, when I hear him talk, when he gives interviews, or I mean, there's nothing like really weird. I mean, if he wouldn't have said anything or wear anything, you would never know.
I don't know. I knew pretty quick, bro.
Yes, because he's wearing a tail, or
No,
the or the, or the, or the ears.
but
He's
I mean, I've been to probably like 9, well, not 9, but I've been to 7 Comic Cons. I know when it's an act and when it's not. Like I don't know. Like this is a no doubt. This is a furry.
yeah.
So,
He's wore the Sonic hat ever since he started.
but that's fine. I'm not. But I guess. I thought, okay, I just thought that up to this point, I thought it was just an act. Okay, he comes in with the furry and everything, and I mean, he puts on the suit and everything, and all, but I was even though, but I thought it was just off with shits and giggles.
No, it's because he's a furry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He might not be the bad kind of furry, but he's
No, I don't know shit about the guy. I'm not trying to say
he
it's
yeah, yeah.
whatever. It's just he's a very, very blunt, blatant
Yeah.
furry. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Man, Ben, you're the only person I've ever talked to that has questioned that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't know.
What a conversation. We're debating the validity of a furry
I
being a
know.
furry
I
and not
know,
an
and
actor
I mean, this is
acting
a
as a furry. Like
right.
that I don't where what the fuck, man.
I know, and it's again, self-confessed furry, right? You think that it's a slam dunk case. It's just, I don't know. I guess I expected him to be more weird. I
What
guess.
of having like pictures of him like fucking other furries? Like what was it gonna take for
No,
you
I mean, I don't
to
know. It's just that because to me, to me, he seems like
furry?
a dude that's definitely gifted in fighting games. But when he talks and everything, there's nothing about him that really stands out to me about how he carries himself. In other words, if you take off the side of the ears and the tail, he's just another.
I know, but like that's I don't know, that's an interesting conversation to talk about in and out of itself. So furries are supposed to talk a certain way and
Now,
then I
you know
then
what? It's like porn. What is porn?
no, I know. No, I'm agreeing with you, and I'm not trying to call you out. I'm
No, I
saying
mean
it's like
it's just
what
that.
would make a furry a furry?
I mean,
What would you
I
like to think?
really, I guess, I don't know. I guess I'm expecting more weirdness than what I see out of him. What I see out of him, he's a happy-go-lucky dude that happens to be immensely talented in fighting games, and he pops off. He has a good conversation with people, and he's fun to interview and all of that. And yeah, he's a self-confessed furry. I would have never known. I know this sounds a little bit backwards. Like if you take off the Sonic Fox ears and tail, I would have never known. It's just there's nothing about him that's really sticks out. That like, oh my gosh, this dude is something ain't quite right. Something ain't quite right. I guess if I would have saw him buck naked, or like wearing a tail and he's riding some dude cowgirl, then I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, like okay, yeah, there's Sonic Fox, but you don't see that of him, so it's like at least not yet. Something tells me that I'm going to regret this conversation next week, next month, next year. There's going to be something about Sonic Fox involved in a gay furry orgy with.
I don't want to think about
I mean,
that
that's
happening.
I mean,
Please no,
I know.
please
That's
no,
what I'm saying. I know. I know.
please.
And there's gonna be.
Especially no, like I gave you like the real quick blunt facts of it, but that fucking that YouTube video that Mr. Medicare made, like that is deeply fucking disturbing. And then the fucking furries were like, "Oh, we feel as a community you're trying to witch hunt us." It's like, what? What? It's like you're cutting off animals' heads and fucking them. There's no witch hunt when you're doing that kind of shit.
Jim,
Pieces of fucking garbage.
Jim, do you hear? Did I mention that there's a serial cat killer? In
No,
Florida?
oh god.
Yeah.
It's probably one of them.
All
He's
right. I
collecting
mean,
heads to fuck.
he skins the cats
Oh,
and
Jesus
beheads them,
Christ.
and he's done like 20 of them so far. Um, and yeah, they actually assigned a top level investigator to find him.
Yeah, he should be found and
Yeah,
killed.
because obviously there because there's I guess there's a term for serial killers. That they start off with animals and they progress to humans when they're bored of it, when they no longer get a thrill out of it. So yeah, so they want to find him before he progresses.
Yeah.
Um,
Jesus Christ.
okay, I need you guys. Okay, I mean this in the nicest possible way. I need one of
So
you.
this is gonna be mean.
I need one of you to talk to Coop Gooey.
Mr. Met will do it.
Okay, Coop Gooey. His
Why?
picture looks like a freaking serial killer. Okay, I'm
Well, is it
glad he.
because he looks like Sam Hyde?
Yeah, he does look like Sam Hyde's little son.
I mean, it's just he. I'm glad he took off the beard and all, but I mean, that's just my gosh. I don't. And you think about it is, I don't know how. Like, I mean, ask him to take another picture. I mean, ah, you got to talk to him, Mr. Matt.
I think he works at like a warehouse or something. So it's probably his look.
That's good.
I need one of you to talk to him.
What do you want us to say?
Can you?
Can you stop looking like yourself? Like what the fuck am I
No,
supposed
I'm like he looked like he beheaded a few cats.
Oh my god.
I don't know how to say.
Imagine in 5 years we look back and that actually happened and we talked about
No,
it and
no,
we're
no,
laughing.
no, no.
I don't know, man. It's
I,
fucked up.
I need one of you to talk to him,
I'm not doing it.
Mr. Matt. Mr. Matt,
I
I
already told
depend
him
on
he looks
you.
like Sam Hyde
Huh?
on Twitter.
What?
I told him he looks like Sam Hyde on Twitter.
Okay, I need you to be.
Oh god damn it, you're trolling him over a matter of public security that Bunkei is very worried about.
And they're gonna
Oh
come
wait,
back to
Bunk
this
doesn't know who Sam
conversation.
Hyde.
They're gonna come back to this conversation like, did you see anything out of the ordinary? Yes, I saw some out of the ordinary, and no one took me seriously.
And then, yeah,
There's
and
there's
obviously
another picture on here, but the dude left, so I can't. I don't know who it is. Oh, another picture that gives me nightmares. Yes, Yami Amarillo. God damn it, dude. No.
no, no, I'm good.
Yeah, yeah. Someone talk to that motherfucker. Oh, that picture. Come on.
Nope.
Okay. So there is a B movie called I think I told you guys before. It's called Death by Temptation. Death as in DEF.
Yes.
It's about a woman who's a black succubus. She's a black woman that's a succubus, I should say. And she kills all these men. And I mean it's like and some old heads are here, like Samuel Jackson's in it. A couple of so it's this is like made in like 1989.
Okay.
There is a scene that I want you guys to see. Um, she brings home she brings home a dude, and he wasn't floating her boat, and she gets mad at him. Because the dude turns out that the dude's gay. Okay.
Oh,
Okay. So let me just okay. I'm just gonna hold on. Okay, hold on.
Did I do something wrong?
Yes. Do not.
Okay, I want you. I'll put this inside the chat. Hold on, the general chat. All right. Okay. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna play it. I want you guys just to mute it, so just watch along with it. As you know, listen.
Okay.
This is a fucked up way to die. Okay. So
Do
she's
not
mad.
kiss me.
She's mad at him.
Don't get me wrong. I ain't bitten or
This
smitten,
this
none of
dude
that.
actually met her,
Cool.
thinking that she's
But
great, but she
this
don't
is
know that
someone I
she's
really
a
think I
succubus.
could get to like a lot.
Oh, girlfriend, where did that come from? Feels good. Oh, that hurts. Stop. No. Take it out.
My guess is she's a pussycat.
No!
That's a thing.
Um. So me and my brother, he always talk about this scene. Whenever in life something fucks you over, just like at the very beginning, he goes, "Ooh, baby, ooh, girlfriend, where'd that come from?" When she grew a dick, basically.
That was interesting. That was a scene. Man, you got that 70-year-old smoker's cough going on, bro.
I know. And I quit cigarettes 2 weeks ago.
You were still smoking?
Nah, no, I'm just
I was
kidding.
gonna say, Jesus Christ.
I've been called a cock smoke.
Yeah. Called?
Among other things. You know, let me. By the way, so some of you guys might know, I am on Grinder, which of course is the gay version of Tinder.
You still trust that shit?
No, and here's the reason. I have become adept at people just, they really do think my head's cool off and on. And I love it when I don't know why. I don't know why, but I mean I get messages all the time. You know, and on there I have, you know, my profile and everything on there. And I says, please, no one over 30. All right. I get messages from people that look like Wilford Brimley messaging me, hey, you want to see my Quaker Oats? I mean, it's really quite unnerving on there. I love that. I love the laughter, but it's also quite pathetic. Please, I saw this dude that looked like Yogi Berra. No, this Yogi Bear actually.
I was gonna say Yogi Berra is a corpse, bro. He's dead.
Yeah, and the pictures are even worse than that.
That's not good.
No, that really isn't good.
You hate to see that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly, and it's.
But I mean, you kind of know what you're getting into, whether you're go to your gay trade or whatever, when you're using those kinds of sites, you know
But
you're gonna deal with certain kind of shit like that,
I
man.
mean, but okay. So that's what my roommate been talking to me about and everything. So what do I do instead then?
I mean, I have a lot of suggestions. I've told you what to do.
Okay, I am open.
Number one is move,
Why?
because that place sucks.
Oh well,
You,
yeah.
we opened the entire show talking about how garbage that place
I know, I know. But that doesn't answer how I'm
No,
supposed to.
because that's the step one. Because there are some places, even if you just traded like for like, and like you said, you're not going to be able to afford a house. Who cares? I have a house. Trust me, it sucks. But you can go and for the same price and still make enough money, live in an area where it's a lot more easy for you to find other people. You know what I mean?
I have heard that I could move to Utah.
That does not seem like a place I would want to move to. If I was
Spain.
a gay person, I don't think I would want to move to Utah. Aren't they like Mormons?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that isn't that like the opposite of everything?
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying is that, I'm getting bad advice. I mean, you see, Jim, actually, this is really your fault.
Good.
See, had you not have gotten married and have a kid and a wife and all that shit, we could have got a pad together. But no, you got to go get wifed up and everything. And I mean, but that's fine. That's fine.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. That is true. But what am I supposed to do?
Just go. You have to do what I did. When I drove to San Diego from Orlando, I didn't know where I was going to be sleeping. I didn't know how I was going to make money. I just did it.
Okay, you on that YOLO status. Okay.
I was. I wish I could still be. But that's the only way to get anything like worthwhile. It's just in life in general. You just have to
What I think
make
is
a decision. You don't have to be crazy and move all across the country, this, that, and the other. Like that's not the answer for everybody. But when you make a decision, you have to stick to it and just be like, fuck it, I'm gonna ride it out and let's go.
Jim, what I think you need to do is to finish the basement. So
It's
I can
almost
move,
done.
so I can move in just for 2 weeks. Now you know goddamn well it's not going to be just for 2 weeks, but I'm just going to say 2 weeks.
I mean, if you would be an elite nanny, I don't think my wife would mind.
Me and kids don't.
See, that's why you can't do it. You're banned. You are kicked out night one. And that's not even from me. I know her. I know how this would work. I know exactly how this would work.
I knew you first.
Yeah, because my kid wasn't born yet.
No, I'm talking about your wife. I'm like, I knew you first.
Oh no, yeah, that's fighting words. You just
true.
she knows where to find all these, right? Do you know how much trouble I'm in? Do you have any idea how much trouble I'm in?
I have an idea.
She can hear every one of these ever. Think about that. It's not ideal.
But
And you know what's really funny? She knew Bill for mayor in real life.
wow.
And she doesn't know the story yet.
Wow.
So, yeah. So that's gonna be really funny one day. When I play the one where he's just screaming at Spooky.
See,
for no reason. He was just drunk off of like 16 Bud Lights. Oh, that's gonna be fun times.
See,
So
the
you haven't
problem.
heard anything from Bill in a while.
For what?
Have you? When's the last time you've heard from Bill?
Oh, like a year ago, dude.
Damn.
Yeah. I didn't even talk to him when FIFA came out, and normally that's like the main thing he tries to talk to me. You know? I mean, I've watched that man destroy television sets over FIFA multiple times. His anger is unprecedented. And then he got kicked out of his house by his wife because she caught him spending $10,000 on FIFA last year alone
Oh, oh,
because of all the microtransactions. And the best part is, like, I don't know, the way competitive FIFA works, it doesn't. You do have to spend money, like, if you want to be like one of the best, but that that's not really the case for most people. Bill sucks. Like, he had no chance of ever even being mediocre, and he dumped $10,000 into a game that renews itself every September, and then he breaks property over it. Like, oh, dude, you can't make it up. But what's sad is, like, that's normal. Like, there are a lot of people that dump all of their expendable income into FIFA, and they all are shit. I don't know, man. I can't wait until the day that Capcom figures out this is the best formula of all time, and they start charging for better moves.
oh
You
my
know, like a
God.
Hadouken, you can have a 2-frame Hadouken if you spend $35 and you get lucky enough to win that. But most of the time, you'll just get a stand jab that's 8 frames.
Wow. Wow.
That's essentially what the pack system is in
Yeah.
Madden and also FIFA. You can ask
Wow.
Mr. Met from experience. Like, 99.999% of the time, you get garbage. And everybody gets the same garbage. But then that one time, you don't. And it actually does impact your ability to play well in the game because it's a fucking pay-to-win game.
Well, you've gotten pretty good luck this year, so
Fuck yeah, I have. I am not
Jesus
complaining.
Christ.
And they were all from free packs. But I can't trade those players from the packs. That's the only problem. So they got me.
Jim, can I ask how much money have you spent on FIFA
This year, $15.
last year?
And that's just for the game itself. Last year I think like $60. I don't fall for that trap anymore. I used to.
I love it anymore.
No,
Spill it.
I'll admit it. Mr. Met saw. Well, which FIFA was it? FIFA 17? I was
Yeah.
yeah. I spent a fuck ton of money on that game. I didn't care.
Man, I was hoping that I was gonna do an intervention. Oh, okay.
Oh no. I don't fall for that shit anymore. I actually really like what EA did. Talking of games, if you pay $100 a year, you pay it all up front at once. You get every single game in the EA in the family. So you get all the Star Wars games, you get FIFAs, you get Madden, you get I think Call of Duty. Which one is it? Or Battlefield. So you get all of these games, and it's all included in the one price, and that's it. It's actually the smartest thing they've done.
You're right. That's actually not a bad deal.
It is. You pay it once, not bad. Because if you go out and you buy a disc copy of a game and at full price, that's almost $70 by itself. So for $100 to have full access to all of the legacy games and all the new games, and then they give you early access to any new game that's coming out on top of that. Like it's a really good deal. I never thought I'd live today. I said something good about you,
Yeah, I know, I know. I'm actually ready to shut the show down because of that.
but it's true. I mean, it was smart.
You're not Jim. You're an imposter.
No, and I think I kind of know why they did it, especially for FIFA and for Madden, because they're the ones that sell the packs. It's like, oh well, I only spent $100 to get all these games. What does it matter if I throw another $40 here and there at it to try and make it better? They're gonna get paid the same. You just have to be smart enough to resist that temptation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, I am sleepy as fuck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the first for me. It's like 3:15, and I'm like wide awake because I know there's no baby that can wake me up. So of course I'm not tired.
Well, I was gonna talk about the anthrax thing, but I was bring it up another time.
Yeah, we got it. We got to save that. If Bunkei goes, we gotta go. You can't just be me.
Right, peace.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Good
Thank
night,
you, guys.
fellas.